forget right now, I'll remember it when you are reading the
taking it out of your mind.
Year 4. NDC year 2. I say energy any day. Make later. And then MPP I say COVID and the Russia-Ukraine. Really? So more the physical condition we find ourselves now. It is we didn't do anything wrong. So this is force majeure. This is a natural situation that has occurred. They didn't do anything wrong. So
but for the NDC, we've heard this over and over again. We were expecting something new.
Yeah. But when would he stop lying?
This question you're asking is for the wrong person.
And another big thing that is also trending on everywhere else, based on his speeches, says he will choose the Ghana card over 1,000 interchanges.
To say, it feels like he's sad that we are not really seeing the Ghana card like he was expecting us to see.
February says 197 countries you can use the Ghana card to travel. I cow. Only for Shela Ekubocho to come and remove his buttocks. Dr. Baumia, hey, I was in a what's it when you must tell me? Jay, the on your fine, Jay. Bois. Bois. Nkebe in Abakade. Oh, we are sorry, we are here at this moment. IMF is helping us stabilize. So by end of first quarter 2023, Yami Aduma Ibefi, them or how not a team. Nanka Yajatum, but ebe jina e kache in the quadruple 1p and for 2 man this now also for 2. I mean, after 6 years, you are not coming to blame NDC.
Okay, let's still stay inside the camp of the New Patriotic Party, where they are expressing their readiness to welcome over 6,000 delegates from today for their national delegates conference.
According to
I am ready.
All is sort.
All is ready. So they're going to stay in Accra for 3 days, and we have
delegates
46 delegates vying for 10 different positions. We wish them all the best. We pray that it's a free and fair one. No chaos, nothing, misunderstanding, nothing.
It's kind of party. Delegates be the I want to befriend one delegate today if I have the opportunity. Just a weekend here, may blow. Regional election campaign, I'm thank you, na a national there. Ebe 20 crowd, I shall know. Mom 5 beer, met my managing them. Babwa. Any delegates want to befriend me? I'm here, I'm waiting. Anyways, so let's just stick with the MPP. Former chief of staff during Kufuor's administration, Kwame Pini, has been talking that if he were the finance minister, he could have resigned.
Oh, all by himself?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you were the finance minister, would have resigned.
Well, yeah, you know
all the issues that are happening. But when I say, here is where when young boy, I'll tell him. When young boy cry, so forget what you did talk. Forget to be that's what he's saying. Forget to be he's still there till. I can't remember 3 years. So when you feel. I think he will probably want to be the longest serving finance minister or set a record. Setekwe, I don't know how long. Setekwe wasn't here. Setekwe came in later. He wasn't the one at the beginning of the administration because Ejata was around and it wasn't Setekwe there. So let's see. Well, there's other stories also trending that we're going to talk about on Matters Horizon. So stick around with us. We'll get into the details later on when we come back after Susan Jele comes through with the kitchen skills that she needs to give us for the weekend. All right. And then we're going to have later on a sit-down conversation about dating and courtship. Well, I've been told that when you're dating, you can date as much as 30 people. Just to make a choice.
Okay.
And when you make that choice, you move on to the next level of having a relationship, and then you plan the courtship. maybe I might be wrong, might be right. But later on, Reverend Felix Parker Benin, the head pastor of Shepherd Fields Chapel at Dogono, is going to join us and then tell us maybe Americano and Tessa. And we're going to look at both the spiritual angle or Christian angle and then the normal level, you know, the kind of people. No? The kind of people like this, you know, almost some level.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the kind of ones, you know, almost some level. Saying dating and then courtship, you know, we're gonna have that interesting conversation later on. So don't forget, it's gonna be interactive, and the show is always interactive as always. So join us with your messages, your questions, and everything ahead of time. Send it to our WhatsApp line, which is on your screen right now. If you have any thought or any ideas about courtship and dating that you think it should be the ideal way or a possible way of managing it. So remember when D.Y. Donker was here the last time, you were saying that the reason for most of the marriages not succeeding, it has to do with sex before marriage. So
yeah, I remember according to him, it says that when sex comes in, the ladies
is blinded.
Is blinded.
But for the man, by the whole lot of things. But the man, I feel so more. It's going to cite a lot of negativities and the pros and cons of the woman and all that. But
that's unfair.
Unfortunately, then
for the woman's eyes, for the woman's eyes to rather close up.
When you're man, please, our producer says no is the case. Please, are you a woman? Please, are you a woman?
Okay,
Shadrach, are you a woman to tell us? Man. Oh, Shadrach, are you a woman?
Wait, so he has lady friends that he's done stuff with, so their eyes didn't close. You get it? He has lady friends that he's done stuff with, so because maybe their eyes.
That's fair. That's a fair comment.
Yes.
If
we get you, sir.
You've been doing things and then you have experience. They've told you that their eyes open, not blinded.
Okay. Yeah.
That's okay. We don't begrudge you at all. That's okay. Keep that.
It's a free world.
Don't forget our man JK will also be coming through. There's a man who is into makeup artistry. He's going to join us later on Healthy Tainment. So when JK comes through, also that will be the conversation you're going to have. So yeah, stick around for that. There's much to talk about today between now and 9:30. The show is brought to you by Kind Casey Prudential Life Insurance. Always listening, always understanding. Don't forget we are live on YouTube, Hstv GH Live. Should you have to move out of the comfort of your home, your offices, don't forget to still stick around with us. And don't just watch, but subscribe and click on the bell so that you get all the notifications on all the shows that we have here on Hstv. All right?
Right. It's 15th of July, Friday. So once it's your birthday today, you can equally send us a message so that we wish you, or if it's for somebody as well, no problem. You can even add a picture and then we'll post that and then wish that person a blessed birthday on your behalf. We are just ready to do that for you today. It's no hard talk today. It's just all fun. And I just want to say thank you to thank you to Elliot's Government for giving me this.
Another puff. Add that one.
Puff. I love it. Like
a weekend puff.
I feel like I'm looking like extra classy. Yeah. I woke up today and coming to work and I'm like,
it's okay to look and feel. So it's normal.
Yeah. So thank you, Elliot's Government, and you can locate Elliot Government inside Adabaka. Yes. I keep forgetting that.
Behind
Glyco Insurance, and then a lot of landmarks.
Opposite. Behind Church of Pentecost, opposite Editrom,
and then adjacent Apostolic Church. Many landmarks, Charlie. Just get there. Or you can give him a call. You can also give him a call, a text message, or a WhatsApp message via the number 0244 724-879. 0244.
He's short like that. My height mate. He's my height mate.
He's taller than you are.
You wish.
I'm telling you.
Maybe you should ask him.
Elliot.
You're suffering from scholastic myopia.
0244-724-879. I believe he's watching us now. So good morning to you.
I'm even taller than him. Ask him.
You're not taller than he is.
He's my son. He can't be taller than his father. Ask him.
My brother is taller than my dad.
Well, it happens at times, but with him,
you. So if you're a lady, you can get to Elliot. If you're a guy, you can get to Elliot. It's unisex. That's Elliot's garments. If you're a child as well, you can get to Elliot. Any occasion, wherever you think you're going, be it wedding, engagement, party, funeral, outdooring, anything. He can even select your fabric for you. He tells you what to wear at the right time. So it's Elliot's garments. Like, we got you covered. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, on that note, we'll go for a quick detour. When we come back, it'll be time for Sweet Ajele to take us to the kitchen, and then we'll come back to do Matters Horizon. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Hello, sweet team. Welcome back to my channel. This is Sweet Ajele, and I am back with another recipe. Have you ever tried cassava porridge? Well, it may just become your new favorite. Super delicious and so easy to put together. Let's get started. In a pan, we're going to go ahead and add in some palm oil and allow it heat up. You may use any oil of your choice, but palm oil is preferred. To that, add in some chopped onions, give it a stir, and allow it cook for about 5 minutes or until it is translucent. We'll then go ahead and add in some chopped up habanero pepper and some tomato sauce. I'm using my homemade tomato sauce. You may use fresh tomatoes if you prefer. Go ahead and rinse out your bowl, add that water, and I'm also going to go ahead and add in some shrimp powder. You may use beef, mushroom, whichever one works for you, okay? If you're allergic to shrimp, we have fish. I have all of that, and I have a recipe on it on my channel, so I'll leave that link. We'll stir, cover, bring it to a boil, and then cook on medium heat for about 10 minutes. While that is going on, I'm going to go ahead and peel and cut my cassava. Okay, you may cut it any size you want, but we have bite-sized pieces that we like to cut our yam porridge into. My goodness, this recipe, I was just sitting there, I had this cassava, I'm like, I'm craving for porridge, but I don't have yam. So let me try this because I've never ever seen it done before, and boy oh boy, it was so amazing. Now, if it wasn't for social media, I did not know that they had cassava that was poisonous. Ever since I've been posting cassava, people ask that question. I grew up in a country where we didn't have that, so we've always cooked cassava without fermenting it. If you live in an area that you need to ferment your cassava before enjoying it, please do. Otherwise, research to find out which ones are good to enjoy immediately, because trust me, fresh cassava like this cannot be compared to anything. At times, it's even better than yams, okay? This is so sweet and delicious. We Ghanaians, we do not have to ferment it before enjoying it. Although, when we're using it to make our agbelima, we have to ferment it because we want that fermented flavor, but not because it's poisonous, okay? So please do what is safe where you are. Once I'm done peeling it, I'll cut it into bite-sized pieces, just as you see in the video, and then I'll transfer it into a bowl. I'll give it a couple of washes, and then I'll set it aside for when we are ready to add it to our sauce. Now back to check on our stew. It's looking good. It is now time to add in some snails, some stockfish, and willy. Yes, I'm doing things to porridge that have not been done before. Now, in case you're wondering about the snails, they are already pre-cooked. My auntie cooks it before sending it to me, unless I want it fresh, okay? And the stockfish, I soaked it for just about 5 minutes because it's not that hard, and the willy nice and soft, so it'll all come together beautifully. Give everything a stir, cover, and allow it to continue simmering for about 8 minutes. And we are back. Our stew is looking good. I'll season it with some all-purpose seasoning. Give it a good stir, and then I'll go ahead and add in my cassava and enough water to cover the cassava. I'll stir everything together, taste for salt, adjust if needed, and then I'll cover it, allow it to cook until our cassava is nice and tender. And we are back. Oh my goodness, my sweets. I wish y'all were here to smell how divine this smells in this house. Oh my gosh. I'll give it a stir, and then I'll check if my cassava is nice and tender, and it is. Okay, you can even enjoy it right now, but I want this to literally melt in your mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and mash some of the cassava into the sauce. A comment was left under my yam porridge recipe that we do not need to mash this. What? Please do not knock something until you try it. We mash it so that it'll be nice and creamy and super delicious. You can leave it to be watery or loose or light if you like, but mashing it with your ato or pesto, okay, brings an amazing creaminess to this recipe that you will not regret. But skip it if you do not want to, but I will mash it beautifully until it is to my preference. But mind you, we do leave some chunky, so everything is not like a kid's porridge. This is a nice chunky porridge that the entire family would enjoy. I'll add a little bit of water, stir everything together, and allow it to simmer for an additional 10 minutes. And we are back. Oh my gosh. I'm going to add in some kale, okay? Kales taste like meat. So for those of you vegetarians that want to skip all the meaty part of this recipe, do add kale and you would love it. If you don't have kale, you may use spinach or any green leafy vegetable of your choice. Once I've added in my kale, I'll give everything a stir and I'll allow it to simmer for about 4 minutes. This is done, okay? But I just want it to simmer for just a little bit. And when I come back, I'm going to add in some sliced onions. Give it a stir, turn your fire off. Our potompoto or mpotompoto or porridge is ready. Others say it's pottage. In Ghana, we say porridge. However you call it where you're from, it is ready and time for us to serve and enjoy. Oh my gosh. Please, if you have safe cassava where you are, try this recipe. I promise you would come back to testify. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and are inspired to try the recipe. Until I see you in the next one, stay safe, keep loving each other, and remember that the love of God and family is life's greatest blessing. And guys, ke unamini ochemi sweet mahabotu. Bye y'all.
Continental food, madam. Food, madam. International food captain. We'll show you how to make pizza, jollof, mango and okra soup, sushi and and pastries. All this and more. Sweet Ajay. Go, go, eh. Go, go, gaga, go. Sweet Ajay. Go, 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 go.
All right, welcome back from the break, and of course, you saw Swiss jelly with some banching potom poto. I always know that it could be cocoyam, yam itself, and potatoes, yes, but I didn't know that you can do potom poto with cassava banching. Anyways, that's okay. That's cool. You may want to try this weekend whilst you're home. Have a feel about. But yeah, banchi biani idea. Banchi bi wakwa tasting here some another level. So maybe you should be careful what kind of banchi you're going to use. Okay, and then enjoy it. We the peanuts, you can ship some my way. I don't mind at all. I want to test it and see how it goes. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah. Yells. All right. Yeah. So it's time for us to get into Matters Horizon. But before we do that, we've got some amazing people celebrating their birthdays today. So we'll quickly get into that before we jump into the conversation on Matters Horizon. So we start off with a very young woman, very pretty woman. The name is, okay, the message, it came with a message from Francisca Anku of Primus Advertising. And the message says, happy birthday to my beautiful ex-wife, Dorothy Chebafo. May this 7 bring forth a lot of happiness and good health and peace. Ifya Wendy loves you so much. And that is a message attached to it. So that is Dorothy Chebafo on your screens right now. Today is her birthday. Yeah, nice picture. Very good for motivation for the weekend. Yes. Anyway, so Dorothy, enjoy your birthday, coming from Francisca and everybody else that you love, and they are saying happy blessed birthday to you. Enjoy your birthday to the max. And there's another gentleman celebrating his birthday. He happens to be one of the executives of the Pram Pram NDC caucus. His name is Hank Alote. Hank Alote, today's your birthday. Happy blessed birthday to you from me, your folks, your friends, your family, and all the team in Pram Pram. Wishing you a happy blessed birthday. Have a good one and enjoy the day. And it's a weekend, so yeah, chill out till. Okay, enjoy your birthday, Hank. All right, so. You have some birthdays.
Yeah, I also have a little cute boy's birthday to celebrate for him. Actually, he's turning 2, God willing, tomorrow. He is Nanaya Buma Obe, and God willing, tomorrow you're 2 years. And then I pray that you grow under the grace of God, you grow under the goodness of God, and then I wish you long life, prosperity, peace, wealth. Yeah, so Nanaya Obuma Oben, God willing, tomorrow is your birthday, you're turning 2. Blessed birthday to you from me, Auntie Steffi. Learn how to mention my name, Auntie Steffi. Nana, Auntie Steffi.
I know what you know. Forget.
He comes to church and when he's taking popcorn and I want to take it from him, then he's crying.
Yeah.
Learn how to mention my Auntie Steffi. But so from me, he doesn't call me.
Yeah, so I'm bored, didn't cry, yeah. Yeah, appetizing to him.
So I'm telling the mother, Mrs. Catherine, Nancy, teach your son how to mention my name, Auntie Steph.
Please, he's just 2 years old. Allow him. Baba call from Mama at times. Relax.
So Nana, you're going to raise a blessed birthday to you from me, from your parents, Mr. and Mrs. Nancy, and then your twin, your elderly siblings, the twins, Henrita and Henry as well. All of us.
Why you say elderly twins to me like I'm
like
I'm elderly twins?
No, maybe.
The way you're pointing your hand to my side, as if I'm the elderly twins.
Sorry.
Maybe.
Blessed birthday to you. Blessed birthday to you, Nana. And then another special person for me. We met back in Philippine Senior High School some years ago. And Laura was actually one of the ladies that was always on the lookout for me. I wouldn't say I was... Way back in the days, I was a little bit naive. I was, in my space. I don't want to talk. And it's like anybody that makes me perturbed. It's like she's out there for me, just wants to, protect me, that kind of thing. We shared provisions together, ate together, went home together, came to school, to everything. And God willing, Sunday happens to be your birthday. So a blessed birthday to you, Laura Amwini Atewimbwa. Laura Atewimbwa. I mean, she's from the northern region. So a blessed birthday to you. I love you so much. I love you so. Expect your momo today. Okay.
Okay.
God bless you.
All right. Before we get into the conversation, I just got another text message from a friend who wants me to wish another friend a birthday, and it's coming from, I think, the husband. Yes. Okay. So it's coming from the husband. So the husband says, "Can you please wish Mrs. Ikua Imos Abanye? I believe I got the name correctly. A happy 35th birthday for me whilst on air. I will really appreciate her birthday today. Please." Okay, yeah, so that is a message that they want to wish that's your husband. I believe his name is Fifi. Yes, Fifi Amos Abanye. You want to wish you a happy 35th birthday, Mrs. Ikea Amos Abanye. Today's your birthday. Happy blessed birthday to you. Enjoy the birthday, and I know he's got a special treat for you since it's a weekend. You know, yeah, the usual thing that he does for you. So he's going to do that in double. Now is the latest term is quadruple 1p from the vice president. So he's going to give you a quadruple 1p birthday celebration today. All right, into the weekend. Enjoy your birthday, Mrs. Ikea Imosabaye. All right, so that said, let's now turn our attention into the many stories that are making rounds. We'll start off with the friend of this morning from Elvis Dakon and his team. The banner headline says, IMF bailout economy will emerge stronger with enhanced fiscal discipline. And you know who is talking about this one. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's on the front page of the paper. Page 8 has details of that story. So let's quickly delve into the many stories that came as a result of his lecture yesterday and run it off with him so that we can move on to other matters. So the first one says, I'll choose Ghana card over 1,000 interchanges. It's more impactful, according to Dr. Bawumia. Well, the story says the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is worried Ghanaians do not fully appreciate government's digitalization drive. Speaking at the launch of the 2 new high-level information technology programs at Accra Business School at Bachor and Accra, Dr. Bawumia said government pursues digitalization not for its own sake, but as a vehicle to transform the economy. He said government has been able to solve many problems that have faced Ghanaians through digitalization. Citing the rollout of a national identification system, the Ghana card, Dr. Bawumia said, its relevance cannot be overemphasized. Quoting, if you give me 1,000 interchanges and the Ghana card, I would choose the Ghana card because it has more impact, he added. He explained that the Ghana card has made life simpler. For instance, with the Ghana card, students can now access loans without guarantors. The rollout of the Ghana card sparked conversations after the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, said the Ghana card fully met the requirement for e-passports, despite a rejection by the International Civil Aviation Organization, that's ICAO. Government had said the Ghana card has been fully certified by ICAO and thus qualifies to be used as identity card for international travel in place of passport. But, and this, according to Shela Yokubochi. Well, there's another story still emerging from the conversation he had about you now. This one has been titled, NDC partly responsible for Ghana's current fiscal problems. And this is where he gives NDC 2. Now MPP so add 2. Yeah, check. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has rejected claims that government's numerous flagship programs are to blame for Ghana's worsening debt situation and the subsequent International Monetary Fund support request. He said government expended 15.6 billion Ghana cedis on the flagship programs within 5 years. As such, they cannot be responsible for the country's ailing economy. What? They cannot be responsible after spending the 15.6 billion. Dr. Bawumia said factors such as the COVID-19 pandemic, banking sector cleanup, and the energy sector capacity payment debt pushed Ghana's total debt to some $54.5 billion. So the second one I was looking for is the banking sector.
Banking, okay.
I'm saying this before I said they put about 23 billion Ghana cedis into that space to clean up. Dr. Bawumia said factors such as the COVID-19 pandemic, banking sector cleanup, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. He explained that in the midst of the worsening economic challenges, the government's option of generating enough revenue were limited, forcing the country to run to IMF for support. Some commentators also and analysts have argued that COVID-19 expenditures by the government alone cannot be cause of the large increase in the fiscal deficit and debt stock. In fact, they are right. COVID-19 expenditures alone are not the reason for the large increase in Ghana's debt stock. In addition to the COVID-19, there are two others that are critical in understanding the evolution of fiscal deficit and debt stock. They are the banking sector cleanup and the energy sector excesses capacity payment. The excesses capacity payment, that is 17 billion Ghana cedis, relates to the legacy of take or pay contracts that saddled our economy with annual excess capacity charges of close to $1 billion a year. These were basically contracted to supply energy to Ghana. To put these three expenditures in context, we have to juxtapose them with some of the government's flagship program: the free senior high school, the 1D1F, plenty for food and jobs, the Ghana Card, Zongo Development Fund, NAPCO, teacher training allowance, and nursing training allowance. The data shows that the expenditure on these programs over a 5-year period amounted to 15.6 billion Ghana cedis, and this is compared to the 54 billion Ghana cedis expenditure on the three exceptional items. The Vice President said the National Democratic Congress is partly responsible for the internal factors driving Ghana's debt situation. This is where I begin to wonder. After 5-6 years in being administration, telling us that the Mahama administration didn't know what they are doing, they were incompetent government.
Yeah.
And you brought the competent governorship here since 2016. You showed us the economic management team who are going to do wonders, listing their names, telling us what you can do and all that. 6 years down the line, you are now coming to tell us that we should still blame Bahama and his administration for energy sector charges.
And then banking cleanup.
Banking cleanup. Really? And you, dear, you didn't do anything wrong. You rather push 15.6 billion Ghana cedis into the all the policies you listed: free senior high school, plenty for food and jobs, and all those ones. So you did very well in that space. But the banking sector cleanup and then the energy took us to 54 billion Ghana cedis. Hence, we should blame NDC for it. Let's clap for that about me. Hey, economic genius. I've been too much. We appreciate you. I am there.
Is that all for the final?
Hey, Uncle. Yeah, bleh. Let's move away from Dr. Bawumia and his shenanigans. Other stories on the front page. I offer the most comprehensive solutions, and it's come from Hstv. Don't forget, the elections is just starting today, actually. I don't know whether we should get into that story.
Okay, I think we should talk about them.
And still on the front, okay, another story that has to do with all those three. Whilst you look for it.
Okay.
Endorse my experience and hard work. It's coming from John Boedu. Page 6 has that. So they dedicated page 9 to Hstv, who says, I offer the most comprehensive solution. Page 6 to John Boedu, who says, endorse my experience and hard work. And then, experience gain makes me best for national organizer, according to Nana B. Henry, what's his surname? Henry is it Boatin? But he's probably known as Nana B. He was a national youth organizer, now gunning for the national organizer position. And page 2 has also been dedicated to him. So, if you did you get the story?
Yes, okay, we are ready for NPP's annual delegates conference, and that's from Ivan Snimakwe. It says the New Patriotic Party has expressed readiness to welcome over 6,000 delegates today, Friday, July 15th, for the National Delegates Conference. The delegates will spend 3 days in Accra for the upcoming National Delegates Conference to elect new executive officers for the NPP. 46 candidates are contesting to hold 10 different positions. With a day to the commencement of the conference, the New Patriotic Party says all travel and accommodation arrangements for delegates have been finalized. In an interview, the Director of Elections and Research for the NPP, Ivan Snimakwe, assured delegates for the preparedness of the planning committee, quoting that we have put in place the necessary arrangements and preparation for the delegates conference. We are very confident that it shall be a record remarkable success. The election is scheduled, as we have mentioned, between today, the 15th, to the 17th of July at the Accra Sports Stadium. So that's a story as regards to NPP's conference.
Charles, the numbers are reduced. If you remember the press release that we got from the NPP, signed by Peter McMahon, about 47 or so, 48. that went through the vetting or approved after the vetting. But some people had to resign last minute. One includes Charles Bisu. He's resigned from contesting for the national secretary title, general secretary title. So now the rest are now going to gun for it. So Asabi is going for the chairmanship. John Boedu is still sticking as the general secretary, and then Nana B, who was a youth organizer, now wants to be the national organizer. And I hear he's in high poll. The next person will be Titus Glover. And the two of them are now at almost at par, but Nana B seems
bridging
to be
the gap. Okay, so then
Titus is bridging the gap. So Nana B has been at the top now, but now looks like. But let's see.
I heard from someone that actually Titus's content has been quality information.
Yeah, his message that is churning
because
out.
Nana B has been in the system
exactly
way too long than Titus.
And then he also started his campaign a bit earlier than Titus. So then, of course, it gives him the upper hand. And so I'm not surprised about the closing of the gap because he's also sending a very good message. After losing the Ashaman seat, is now going to. He was a former, deputy transport minister? So that's the position is Ghana.
By the end of Sunday, we'll get to see.
Definitely.
Is that all for the find out?
That's all for the find out this morning.
Okay, now moving on to the Daily Dispatch. Good morning to Ben Epson and his team. The banner headlines comes with a picture of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. It says that Ghana went to the IMF because problems of banking cleanup, excess capacity charges, COVID-19, and Ukraine-Russia war. Pages 2 and 12 has details of that story. And then, Diego, you've read that out for us. That is 2-2. We have 2. For this, it's more like an international crisis-induced phenomenon, but for the NDC, it's a domestic induced one. So that's it for Baumia's lecture. Away from that, the story here says that free SHS will not be cancelled, and this is. It also comes with IMF that free SHS will not be cancelled. They have reiterated that parents, students should all relax and be in their comfortable seats because free SHS will not be cancelled because we are going for the IMF program. Another story here says that can Ameyawe Kofi stop in team's 5th attempt to be NPP national chairman? Well, Sunday, God willing, we're going to find out after they are voting and everything. So it comes the picture of Ameyawe Kofi doing that.
Yeah, he says he's going to unite the party.
Yeah. And the last story on the Daily Dispatch, government has shown to be caring by agreeing 15% COLA with Labour. Comes with a picture of Asiedu Beck.
Yeah, so I think we have that story. So let's finish that.
I think I picked that. It says government organized Labour agree on 15% COLA, unions to call off strike. So government and organized Labour have agreed on a 15% cost of living allowance for members of organized Labour. The various worker unions, including the 4 teacher unions, the Ghana Medical Association, and the Public Sector Workers Union, among others, demanded the payment of 20% of their basic salaries as cost of living allowance due to the current economic situation in the country. Negotiations dragged on for over 2 weeks, compelling CCT, NAT, NAGRAT, and TEW to embark on industrial action to insist on their demands. After a crunch meeting yesterday, July 14th, both parties came to a conclusion on a 15% COLA, which will take retrospective effect from I'm sure it will be 1st July 2022.
So backdating.
So they are backdating. Okay. The Employment and Labour Relations Minister Ignatius Bafwe, while reading out the terms of the agreement, said, quoting, "We agreed with the labour unions that the COLA will be paid at the rate of 15% of base pay, that the effective date for the payment of the COLA will be 1st of July 2022. We also agreed that all industrial actions underway and threats of same will be called off immediately and that labour will return to work." So it comes to the picture of an agreement between the two. It says that this agreement is made on this day, on the 14th of July, that was yesterday, between the government of Ghana, represented by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, Ministry of Education, and Ministry of National Security. And then, so it's between the government and the organized labour, comprising of identifiable workers' union and associations within the public service of Ghana of the other parts, whereas the parties negotiated on the cost of living allowance for workers in the public service and reached consensus for 2022 as follows. So the terms of agreement: 1, that the cost of living allowance will be paid at a rate of 15% of base pay. 2, that the effective date for payment of the COLA is backdated, 1st of July 2022. And the third one is that all industrial actions underway and threats of same will be called off immediately, and that Labour would return to work forthwith. So in witness whereof the parties herein have set their names and hands yesterday, so signed by Ignatius Bafwewa MP, Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Honorable Kenneth Uriata, Minister for Finance, Benjamin Arthur, Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, General Secretary for TUC for Organised Labour, Dr. Anthony Yauba, and then Perpetual Ofori Ampo for President of the Ghanaian Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. So that's the agreement on cola allowance.
Yeah, so cola has come. So I think the organized labor are now gonna be smiling. At least they didn't get what they wanted, but at least government has listened. 15%, just a difference of just 5%. So it's okay. So all the agitation shall come to rest for now. We shall see our teachers going back to school, taking care of our younger brothers and sisters in senior high school and junior high schools who are also BEC, preparing for the BEC actually. The BEC is more critical. So yeah, we appreciate that. Thanks to the government for listening. Should I say they are listening government for once? Well,
but listen, because according to them, you know, they felt it wasn't fair for the teacher unions to be asking for cola at this time. They get it. So the fact that they've listened and then, you know, an agreement of 15%. I'm sure if the workers' union weren't okay, they would have still, you know, actually gone ahead with it.
Half a loaf is better than that, and a bird in hand is worth 1,000 in the bush. It's G15 baby. So it's all good. I'm hoping that this is gonna cut across all the public sector workers, because you know the wahala that will come. So yeah. Anyway, so you're done with the paper?
Yes, I'm done with the paper.
All right, so let's move on to another story. Yesterday, our Nana sweared in the APRM Council. So I'm talking about the president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So the president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, swore in the new members of the Governing Council for the National African Peer Review Mechanism, that's the APRM. They included Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, Richard Kwesen, Samuel Ikwamwa Asari, Lord Mansfield Badu, Gipsy Afeyidaze, Kathleen Korte Ayensu, and David Asante Apietu. Hey, it's been a while I saw him. Good to know he's around. You remember him from IGP? David Asante Apietu. That was, however, not without a charge for them to oversee Ghana's second review under the peer review mechanism. As people he holds in higher esteem, President Akufo-Addo was confident that 7-member council will discharge the mandate of their new position. As people he holds in higher esteem, the African peer review mechanism was adopted by member states of the African Union within the framework of the new Partnership for Africa's Development, that is NEPAD, as a self-monitoring tool. And then it serves as a vehicle for sharing experiences, reinforcing best practices, identifying deficiencies, and assessing capacity building, needs to foster policies, standards, and practice that lead to political stability, high economic growth, sustainable development, and accelerated regional and continental integration. That's a whole chunk of duties on them. According to the president, Ghana's role in APRM has been pivotal since its inception, stating that following Ghana's accession to the APRM, a National African Peer Review Mechanism Council was established and inaugurated in 2004 to provide the needed oversight for the implementation of the APRM process in the country. So that is it. The 7 members have been sworn in, and once again, the names are Most Reverend Professor Emmanuel Asante, Richard Kwesen, Samuel Ikwamwa Asari, Lord Mansfield Badu, Gipsy Afeyidaze, Kathleen Korte Ayensu, and David Asante Apietu. So some gender balance more the inside. 2 ladies in there. That's okay, out of 7.
Yeah, 2 ladies out of 7.
No gender proper balance. But if I found 14, it's better than none. I say cooler now. I do 15%.
No proper gender.
Okay, so Let's move on to the next story.
Okay, looks like a lot of people are agreeing to staff to let those who are embarking on strikes to come down. And another story happens to do with the Meridian Port Services, where it says that they agree to see 20% containerized cargo to the Ghana
20%.
So the story says the Meridian Port Services has agreed to cede 20% of containerized cargo at the Tema Port to the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The decision by MPS was made at a crunch meeting on Wednesday, July 13th, between the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority, Minister for Transport, and the Meridian Port Service. The decision also followed the industrial strike action embarked on by the local harbour unions of the GPHA. In a press statement issued by GPHA, MPS starting from August 1st, 2022 will see 20% of the containerized cargo at the Tema Port to the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority. So that's a short story.
Yeah. So the background to it is that this 20% was instituted in 2015 during the Mahama administration, and they don't see why at this point in time they're asking for the same percentage, and you are trying to stop them. Unlike the labor unions, there wasn't any stipulated percentage. It's just about bargaining power. But this one was there already.
Fixed price.
Exactly. So they had no choice but to offer that to them. So yeah. Once again, if anybody at the port want to be my friend, since you are getting 20%,
I used to that would make friends.
Komayashi. You have friends. You should get friends who are.
Komayashi. Then prepare to the second August now.
Second.
To the second August now. So Komayashi.
Oh, to me Kokuma as well. Okay, you might.
Now my life coverage guy.
Mate. Meko. Moto tiagasa. Let's move our attention now to Parliament. Remember, 3 parliamentarians were called to the Privileges Committee. 2 came, but 1 is still at large. So we read a story that was purporting to say that the 3rd person who didn't show up was going to be punished or something. But according to ABF Husseini, they haven't given any report as yet. So Privileges Committee report on absentee MPs not ready. So they said there's no report. So if you've heard anything about a sanction purported to be meted out to the 3rd person who didn't show, is a lie. So the Member of Parliament for Sanarigu, Al-Hassan Bashir Husseini, has denied reports that the Privileges Committee has written to the Electoral Commission to declare the seat Dom Kwabenya occupied by Adjosafo vacant. After Wednesday's crucial meeting of the committee, media report attributed to the chairman suggested that the committee is taking steps to declare the seat vacant after the MP in question failed to appear before the committee. According to ABF Husseini, the report is yet to be presented to the plenary because it is not ready. Addressing the press in Parliament, Mr. Husseini said claims that we have written to the EC to declare Dom Kwabenya seat vacant are untrue. The report is not even ready. How can there be a story of a report when there is no report? As a member of the committee, if the report was ready, I would have been aware. Quoting him again, the authentic story of the Privileges Committee is that there is no report on the 3 members of the Speaker. On the 3 members the Speaker referred to us. Also, on the issue of Adjosafo, the committee made it very clear, even though we have not constituted the report yet, that because we were unable to hear from her, we have referred her to Parliament. On July 6th, Adjosafo failed to appear before the Privileges Committee on the Zoom link that was provided to her to join proceedings. She's currently in the United States of America, chilling and sending us pictures and videos of her on TikTok and Instagram. That's the story, by the way. I'm done.
Okay, let's talk about another story that has to do with Ghana ranked 2nd on list of countries with highest defaults risk in 2022. So this was from Bloomberg.
The same Bloomberg rated our city and put us at the 15th. Before then, I think a week before it was 14th. Now I see Uganda overtaking because they went for the IMF bailout and then we had to drop to 15. It became the worst out of the top 15 that they ranked. Now Bloomberg is out again with another ranking.
On number 2. Ghana has been ranked 2nd behind El Salvador in a list of 25 countries with the highest default risk in 2022. The list made by Bloomberg ranks the sovereign debt vulnerability of each country. According to Bloomberg, the sovereign debt vulnerability ranking gives insight into which countries are most likely to default on their debt obligations for this year. Components of elements based on which each country is ranked include government bond yields, a 5-year credit default swap, interest expense in 2022, and government debt in 2022. According to Bloomberg, Ghana's bond yield spread, for instance, has risen to 17.1% for this year, with interest payments on debts as well as total public debt rising to 7.2% and 84.6% respectively. So I think with our government debt 2022, we are at 84.6%. On the same list, neighboring countries such as Nigeria was rather ranked at 24th position, having government bond yield spread of 12.8%, interest expense of 2.3%, and government debt of 58.4%. So the lists of the countries with the highest default rates in 2022, the first country ranked is El Salvador with 82.6% of the government debts for 2022. Then Ghana ranked second, Tunisia, Pakistan with 71.3%, Kenya with 90%. I think after Pakistan, then Egypt ranked the fifth position with 94%. Then Kenya 70.3%, Argentina, Ukraine, Namibia, Brazil, Angola, Senegal, Rwanda, South Africa ranking with 70.2%. Then we have Gabon, Costa Rica there, then Gabon, Morocco, Ecuador, Turkey, Dominican Republic, Ethiopia, Colombia, Nigeria, and then Mexico.
Anyways,
that's a winning shake. That's a winning shake.
Maybe I do there. We are downgrading. Fitch be downgrading. Moody will downgrade you. Bloomberg will downgrade you. We are downgrading. IMF will downgrade you. So I
IMF said they want to think about it and come next year.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, black. Well, guess what? The Baumia lecture that he gave didn't go without a response from the NDC. You know, he mentioned the NDC being the reason for the banking cleanup and then also the energy sector issue. He gave them 2, then he took 2. General Seydou Ketia, General Mosquito, is talking. He's giving a rebuttal. He says MPP solely responsible for current economic woes. See, they shouldn't come and add it to their issues that they are having to battle with. The story says the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress has blamed the current economic challenges on decisions taken by the economic management team of the NPP government. His comment is in reaction to Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's assertion that former President John Mahama is partly to blame for the prevailing economic woes. Speaking in an interview, John Seydou Ketia said it is the leaders on the economic management team who have delivered this disastrous consequence. He added that these economic managers are people who keep on defending their decisions when they know that their decisions are responsible for bringing us this far. Vice President Bawumia earlier in a speech at the Accra Business School said part of Ghana's current economic challenges can be blamed to the previous government. Dr. Bawumia further listed that he described the quadruple whammy of the current state of the economy, excess capacity payment, banking sector crisis, COVID-19, and Russia-Ukraine war as the reasons. So, with that, he took the COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine, and then he gave the banking sector and the energy excess capacity to the SWA administration led by John Mahama. And Seydou Ketia says, Mbano, your economic management team are solely responsible for that. All right.
Okay. Let's not talk about.
Back in the days, I would have seen some press conference because right after, like what's his name, Fifi Kwete. Those days, I'm going to set up a press conference. They will hammer, digest the whole speech near there. But now I say, why is slow? They just give some comment to be that so and then move on. Anyway, why am I crying? See, now they don't do those things. I could just have black with them. Why is anyway.
Okay, Kojo Mpieni has been speaking, former chief of staff in the Kufu administration. He says that I would have resigned if I was finance minister. Former chief of staff in the president's Kufu administration, Kojo Mpieni, says he would have resigned if he was the finance minister following the decision of the government to seek economic support from the International Monetary Fund. According to Mr. Mpieni, the utterances of the current Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta before the government decided to seek the intervention of the IMF make him unfit for the role. Quoting, honestly, if I were the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, this is not a question of the President dropping me. From my utterances and then what is happening, I would just say, Mr. President, thank you so much. I think it's time for me to sit back for another person to take over. Mr. Mpieni said this in an interview. It will be recalled that in February this year, Mr. Ofori-Atta, Finance Minister, said the government had no intention to go to the IMF for a bailout, but will resort to available means within the country to generate revenue. They said they had homegrown solutions. This U-turn by the government, which yesterday concluded preliminary engagements with the IMF on an economic support program, has resulted in critics calling for his resignation over his pronouncements on the IMF support, insisting that reshuffling ministers was the sole prerogative of the president. Mr. Mpieni said, like all Ghanaians, he was concerned about the performance of some of the president's appointees. He said if he had the opportunity to advise President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he would urge him to drop some inefficient ministers, quoting again that it's the prerogative of the president if he believes that all these people are working well, fine, but a listening president will try and find out what people think. I would advise him to drop some of the ministers and bring in some other new ones. So.
We all seem to not understand how come the current administration is not doing much of the reshuffling. I was at the Ministry of Information some time ago to meet Kojo Nkrumah, and the wall in his press conference room had all the ministers since inception.
Oh.
So from Kwame Nkrumah's time all the way down to him.
Oh.
He's the current one. Mahama's time, the way the changes were happening, even Kufuor's time, some of them, I think, is it Kwabena Japan? He was just 1 month as a information minister. But near Pano, Kufuor was doing a lot of reshuffling. And even Mahama did a couple of reshuffling. Zita Kaikwe was information minister, went to Dr. Mane Boama, a couple of others. By the way, I said, he started with Dr. Mustafa Ahmed. Kojo Nkrumah was his deputy. And then he removed him, took him to MPA. Kojo Nkrumah became the substantive minister. Yeah. And then, I don't know. And it's like, I don't know why there's no reshuffling. Like, he's okay, comfortable with whoever, including a Greek minister.
And those who are not even present.
Including a Greek minister.
They are out there enjoying. They are still... There's a story with her, though, with the Privileges Committee. Or saying that people are saying that they've sent the reports and then now they've declared the seat of Adjasa for the Dom Kwabena seat to be vacant, but it's not true. So
so I've done Nusaf Husseini. Yes, I've done that story already. So anyways, as to how she's also still there as substantive, she's supposed to be the Minister for Social Protection, Gender and Social Protection, and she's still there. It's Yanoka and other US. Nothing has been done. The president can say nada. Nada is a short form of his name, though. So nada, he's saying nada. Ghana Gas unveils occupational health and safety accreditation. Some health story. You know, this is Hstv. We deal with health and safety, so we need to do some health stories. The Ghana National Gas Company has unveiled its new Occupational Health and Safety Accreditation, International Organization for Standardization, that is ISO. The new Occupational Health and Safety Accreditation, DAP ISO 45001-2018 certification, is the highest international accreditation for occupational health and safety management systems. The company was issued the certification in April 2022 after independent certification audits were carried out on its facilities by DNV, a globally acclaimed expert in business assurance and risk management headquarters in Norway. GNGC is the country's premier mainstream gas business that owns and operates gas infrastructure required for gathering, processing, transporting, marketing of natural gas resources in Ghana and internationally. Speaking at the ceremony in Accra on Wednesday, July 13, 2022, to unveil the implementation of the ISO 45001-2018 certification, The chief executive officer of the company, Dr. Ben Asante, said the development and implementation of the company's occupational health and safety management system to meet international standard was one of the achievements of a new management strategic direction. All right, so that is a story with Ghana Gas championing health and safety by getting accreditation from the ISO, labeled ISO 45001 2018 certification. Kudos to them. May they keep up with the health and safety conditions in their office. All right.
Okay, can we now talk about what happened yesterday at Terminal 3 departure frontage of Kotoka International Airport? Yesterday around 11, there about 10, 11, there was a video circulating on social media with this white woman, you know, messing up.
She packed up at the Terminal 3, and apparently, the story, she parked on the, what do you call it, the zebra crossing.
What is wrong with it?
Move the car, you say you move it. They came to clamp it, then you get up, move the clamp, chase the security guy or
injured him at the end.
Through the thing at him. So that one will hurt him, obviously. And this is Ghana. But we are hearing that she's been arrested.
Yeah, so there is a presser from the Ghana Airports Company Limited. It says that on Wednesday, July 13, 2022, at about 10:45 a.m., a female foreigner parked on the pedestrian crossing at Terminal 3 departure frontage of the Kotoka International Airport. She was requested by the car park attendant to move her vehicle but refused. Consequently, the vehicle was clamped. In a fit of rage, she got down from the vehicle, moved the clamp, and threw it at the car park attendant, injuring him in the process. She was subsequently arrested by police personnel deployed at the airport and handed over to the airport police service. And this was signed by management. So it looks like they've done justice to that within the shortest possible.
So that's the video on your screen. You can see just about some few seconds video that we got. So you can see her very enraged. So she goes, you see her going to pick up the locker, and then she chases the guy, throws it at him. They say many are mad, but few are at the psychiatric hospital.
Few are naked. Many are mad, but few are naked.
Yeah. And few are also in the psychiatric hospital. Professor Akwesio said, once said that Obia was 20%. It just take a little bit to trigger it. I don't know whether she's also going through economic hardships in Ghana. Or Nebufu clamping for or so. She has to take the thing and chase the guy. I mean, who does that? Anyway, so she's been arrested. We hope that she'll be prosecuted accordingly, and then of course, whatever sanctions that need to be put out on her is done, so that it ends the matter there and then. Serve as a deterrent to others from doing such parking and then being very difficult to deal with. Yes. Okay. So I think that ends it for the stories for Matters Horizon.
Yeah.
It's a flight in.
Yeah, it's a flight.
So, yeah.
It's a lap.
There's more music in between the show just to de-stress you and prepare you for the weekend and whatever activities you have. And a friend of mine is okay. He doesn't want to talk about it, so I would have said it. Think maybe Becca said Obeware, but me yanka.
That's okay.
Akwesi, Ampoma. It's Obeware.
Dear God.
Person may come, but my kind. Akwesi Ampoma. Whoever thought that guy would get married?